Imagine flying so fast that the world beneath you becomes a blur and the very air starts to ignite around your aircraft. These machines push the boundaries of what's possible in the skies, reaching speeds once thought to belong only to science fiction. In today's video, we're counting down the 10 fastest planes ever built. From Cold War spy jets to futuristic experimental aircraft, these planes weren't just built for speed. They were built to change history. And here's the catch. Not all of them were military weapons. Some were research tools. Some broke records just to prove it could be done. But all of them have one thing in common. They left a trail of fire in the sky. At 10th place, we have the General Dynamics F-11-1 Aardvark, introduced in the 1960s. Nicknamed the Aardvark for its long nose, this supersonic fighter bomber could reach speeds of over Mach 2.5 or around 2,600 kilometers per hour. The F-11-1 was one of the first production aircraft with variable sweep wings, allowing it to fly low and fast while remaining stable. It first flew in December 1964 and became a backbone of the US Air Force for decades. What made the Aardvark especially dangerous was its versatility. It could carry nuclear weapons, precision-guided bombs, or even conduct electronic warfare missions. Its ability to strike deep behind enemy lines at supersonic speeds gave the United States a significant edge during the Cold War. In 9th place is the F-15 Eagle, one of the most successful fighter jets ever built. Its top speed is Mach 2.5, roughly 2,605 kilometers per hour. First flown in July 1972, the F-15 proved unmatched in aerial combat, boasting over 100 confirmed victories with 0 losses. Even today, decades after its introduction, the Eagle is still feared in the skies. The F-15's power comes from its twin engines, which give it the ability to climb nearly vertical after takeoff. This aircraft wasn't just about speed. It combined agility, radar technology, and weapon systems that made it an absolute nightmare for enemy pilots. Its legacy as an air superiority fighter is unmatched. Number 8 belongs to the Mikoyan MiG-25 Foxhound, a Soviet interceptor designed to fly faster than Mach 2.8. That's over 3,000 kilometers per hour. Introduced in 1981, the MiG-31 was built to defend the vast Soviet airspace against American bombers and cruise missiles. Its powerful engines and radar systems allowed it to patrol at high speeds over long distances, making it one of the fastest operational fighters still in service. What set the Foxhound apart was its ability to engage multiple targets at once, even at extreme ranges. Unlike earlier Soviet jets, the MiG-31 could operate effectively at night and in all weather conditions. To this day, it remains a cornerstone of Russian air defense, proving that raw speed combined with advanced electronics can make a formidable guardian of the skies. 7th place is the XB-70 Valkyrie, an experimental bomber developed in the 1960s. This massive delta-wing aircraft could cruise at Mach 3 or over 3,200 kilometers per hour. The Valkyrie first flew in September 1964 and stunned the world with its futuristic design. Though the project was eventually cancelled, the XB-70 demonstrated technology that would later influence high-speed aircraft for decades to come. Its sheer size and performance were breathtaking. With a length of nearly 60 meters and a wingspan of 32 meters, it was as large as a commercial jet, but flew 3 times faster. The XB-70 was meant to outrun Soviet interceptors and deliver nuclear weapons before they could react, a flying symbol of Cold War escalation. At number 6, we have the Bell X-2 Starbuster, a rocket-powered research plane from the 1950s. It reached speeds of Mach 3.2, about 3,370 kilometers per hour. But this incredible speed came at a cost. During a test flight in 1956, pilot Mel Abt lost control at Mach 3 and tragically crashed. The X-2 showed just how dangerous and unstable flight beyond Mach 3 could be. Despite its tragic end, the data collected from the X-2's missions paved the way for future experimental aircraft. Lessons learned about aerodynamic heating, control at high speeds, and pilot safety directly influenced the development of the X-15 and later hypersonic projects. In 5th place is the legendary MiG-25 Foxbat, the Soviet answer to American high-speed bombers. The Foxbat could reach Mach 3.2, though sustained flight at those speeds risked destroying its engines. First flown in 1964, the MiG-25 shocked Western intelligence when it was revealed. It could climb to astonishing altitudes and outrun almost anything in the sky, making it one of the most iconic interceptors of the Cold War. The Foxbat's reputation grew when a Soviet pilot defected to Japan in 1976, landing his MiG-25 and giving the West its first close look. Analysts were stunned at its raw speed and power, though they also discovered limitations in its maneuverability. Still, the MiG-25 became a symbol of Soviet engineering dominance. At number 4, we have the Lockheed YF-12, a prototype interceptor developed by the same Skunk Works team behind the SR-71. The YF-12 could fly at Mach 3.3 or nearly 3,500 kilometers per hour. Although only 3 prototypes were built, the YF-12 proved that Lockheed's design could work as a deadly high-speed interceptor. It set several world records in the 1960s before the project was shelved in favor of the SR-71 Blackbird. One of the most fascinating things about the YF-12 was how advanced it was for its time. Equipped with cutting-edge radar and capable of carrying long-range missiles, it could have changed the balance of power in the skies. But with costs skyrocketing and the SR-71 taking priority, the YF-12 became a hidden legend of aviation history. Number 3 is the legendary SR-71 Blackbird. Known as the fastest jet ever flown by the US Air Force, it reached speeds of Mach 3.3, around 2,400 miles per hour. First flown in December 1964, the SR-71 was used for reconnaissance during the Cold War, outrunning missiles and enemy aircraft with ease. To this day, no other operational plane has ever matched its speed and altitude, and you probably already know this aviation legend. The Blackbird became a pop culture icon, appearing as the X-Men's jet in comics and movies, and even starring in the video game Call of Duty, Black Ops, where players flew a mission using the SR-71 to guide troops on the ground. It wasn't just a plane, it was a cultural phenomenon. What made the Blackbird so special was its design. Built almost entirely of titanium, it had to withstand extreme heat at high speeds, with its skin heating to over 300 degrees Celsius. Pilots wore pressure suits similar to astronauts, and the aircraft leaked fuel on the ground because its tanks only sealed when heated at supersonic speeds. In second place, we move from jets to rocket planes with the Lockheed X-15. This aircraft wasn't just fast, it was revolutionary. Pilots flew the X-15 to the edge of space, reaching Mach 6.7 or over 7,200 kilometers per hour. Between 1959 and 1968, the X-15 set speed and altitude records that stood for decades. Some of its pilots even earned astronaut wings by flying above the recognized boundary of space. The X-15 was a true testbed for space exploration. Data from its flights directly contributed to the design of the space shuttle and modern spacecraft. Every flight pushed the limits of human endurance and engineering, proving that the sky was no longer the final frontier. And finally, in first place, the NASA X-43, an experimental unmanned aircraft that shattered records in 2004. Using a scramjet engine, it reached Mach 9.6, or nearly 11,500 kilometers per hour. The X-43 proved that air-breathing engines could sustain hypersonic speeds, opening the door for the future of space planes and ultra-fast travel. Though only a few flights were conducted, the X-43 remains the fastest aircraft ever built. Its success sparked a new era of hypersonic research. Engineers around the world are now racing to develop vehicles that could one day travel from New York to Tokyo in just a couple of hours. The X-43 was more than a record breaker. It was a glimpse into the future. From Cold War interceptors to futuristic experimental craft, these planes pushed the boundaries of what humanity thought possible. Each one of them wrote a chapter in the history of aviation, proving that the sky is not the limit, it's just the beginning. If you enjoyed this countdown of the fastest planes ever built, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Fact Odyssey, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story. And if you love incredible facts about aviation and technology, check out the video on screen right now. I'll see you there.